Good evening, Sussex Tech. I'm Annabelle Bostic.
And I'm Ava Maloney, and you're watching STTV News.
Welcome to your trusted source for the latest news from around campus and beyond. Brought to you from the Media Production Studio, this is STTV.
Ava, how do you feel about being able to do our first spring episode of STTV?
Well, I've enjoyed a few days of the spring weather, but today feels like absolute winter.
Yeah, I don't know how our spring sports teams have been practicing when it's this cold.
Speaking of our spring sports teams, their season is underway, and here's what some of our athletes and coaches have to say.
Obviously, last year was a lot of work, but now this year, making a state tournament kind of puts a target on your back. So we've got to make sure we're working hard at each practice. Making sure our effort, attitude, and toughness is there every day.
Training's been going pretty good. We've been having some 2v2s in the course, some different scramble matches, and everybody's been having fun out on the course. I think the teams have some good chemistry this year.
I feel like our soccer team is going to go really well. We've built our season up for the past 2 years, and we have some really good underclassmen that have proved our skill to everyone, and I just feel like it's going to go really well.
It's a very mentally tough sport, so with other sports, when you're on the field with your whole team and you can see your whole team and you can rely on them. But in track, it's just you on the track, and a lot of times you're actually competing against your team.
Really hoping to do well and go far and maybe even win conferences, and I see great potential within this team.
Every new season brings about, a different set of challenges. This year is no different, but we try to look at those challenges as a coaching staff as opportunities to grow.
Time to check in on Sam with what's happening in the world of politics. It's the Political Minute.
Welcome to another episode of the Political Minute. As always, I'm your host, Sam McCradwell. It is truly the end of an era. Donald Trump has officially signed an executive order disbanding the Department of Education after almost 45 years. This order will leave education up to the states for the first time since the 70s, thus meaning West Virginia will teach students differently than students in Hawaii. This highly controversial decision has been bashed by Democrats, although Trump's Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, who is the wife of the former WWE founder and chairman Vince McMahon, has said that this decision could be beneficial to all Americans and that these layoffs are the first step to removing this bureaucratic bloat in an interview with Fox News. In other news, Greenland has had their election, with Trump's inflammatory remarks of annexing Greenland into the U.S. becoming a looming thought over the Greenlandic people. And those people have spoken. Greenland have overwhelmingly rejected annexation into the U.S. and wish to remain in an independent partnership with Denmark, who does ownership of the land with a population of over 55,000 people. Trump has originally wanted the land for national security purposes, with condemnation from the Prime Minister of Greenland, Mute Ejig. And that's all we have for you this edition for your Political Minute. Now let's take it back to the studio.
Thanks, Sam. Hey, Ava, did you know that today is National High Five Day?
No, is it really?
Last month on April 17th was National High Five Day.
This day's always meant a lot to me, but not really feeling it today. I mean, no high fives, I just want a high five from him.
What High Five Day means to me is just like getting a good high five from a friend, It just really shows me that they care, and, it just shows our friendship. Honestly, I just feel bad for any guy who doesn't get a high five from Isaiah.
Show the old logo.
However, this isn't the only national holiday this month. Let's check out a few more.
National Handmade Day, celebrated on the first Saturday in April, is a day to recognize and support those who create handmade goods. Here at Sussex Tech, we celebrate some of these people with our annual art show.
So I am selling bracelets and rings and then a painting that says, "Be the love you never received."
I think that everybody should at least give it a try, and then they can have the ability to DIY their own items.
National Handmade Day is for all who put forth their creative talents.
Recently, we celebrated National Pet Day. National Pet Day is dedicated to pets who don't always get the companionship and attention that they deserve, and encourages helping out pets in need in any way you can, like taking supplies to shelters and adopting them. but it is also about showing the pets you have some love too.
My cat Nico is definitely my favorite because he's less needy and he doesn't like bark at any inconvenience that happens, so he's just, in my opinion, way better.
National Gummy Bear Day is celebrated every year on April 27th, honoring the iconic chewy bear candy that has become a worldwide favorite.
My favorite flavor of gummy bears is probably orange because they're very flavorful.
My favorite thing about gummy bears is it's for the young, it's for the old. They remind me of just my childhood. There's a good nostalgic feeling to them.
This day is all about the nostalgic treat everyone knows and loves.
Now, do you know what would go well with these gummy bears? The newest episode of the Wing It podcast. Let's take a little sneak peek.
Tower. Oh my gosh. We did all the things. Ate croissants on the side of the street and watched people.
I just went to Paris and I ate a croissant. And
watched the world go by. And they have kangaroos that get into their trash. So they have to
my
gosh.
I wish I was a kangaroo. Yes. Hey, we might go viral. You might be on the
Yeah,
news.
you might be viral. I think that there's a good chance.
I think
Yeah.
Recently in the media production world, we have collaborated with the Health Pro students by putting our skills together to educate others about medical knowledge. Let's hear what the students have to say.
I really liked how Health Pro and Media Broadcasting, how we collaborated on this project. I never got to experience this rotation when I was a freshman, but seeing how media works and everything behind the scenes, I really enjoyed watching it.
The process behind this was basically we had two choices. We could either do this media broadcast or we can do an interactive children's book.
The process of doing the media broadcast was we got to experience, we did skin cancer, and we were able to research and learn more about it and inform other students who don't really know about it.
I was the script editor, I ran the teleprompter, and I did audio checks for this project. I learned a lot of stuff. A lot of things I didn't know about, a bunch of illnesses and sicknesses.
It was really cool because I liked how showing them how we do things. Because there was a couple of students that would hang out behind us and just got really interested in how we were producing the videos.
I think that seeing this whole experience and seeing the behind the scenes of really how this works, I would have liked to take this rotation in the beginning when I had the chance. And when it came to doing our summative part, I think that if I could go back, I would have chose this because what goes into it is really cool, and I think that being able to experience this and seeing how my classmates also did it, I think it was really would have been a good experience to go through.
The first full week in May is National Teachers Appreciation Week. Let's hear from some of Tech's favorite teachers.
Make sure we're looking at the age of the rocks in reference to...
Well, it was actually by accident I became a teacher. I thought I was going to be an electrical engineer when I went to college, and luckily I had a professor, Dr. Gleason at Delaware State University, that said, maybe you should think about teaching physics. You always work well with other students in the lab. You take a leadership role, and changed my major and became a teacher. And I really do like interacting with the students. I that's why I do extra things outside the classroom as well, like bowling club and coach baseball. I just like seeing people get better, learning concepts, even when they're struggling, see them to work through it and have that light bulb moment of understanding material. 28 years later, I'm still here.
Rock layer evidence. We looked at the shape of the coastlines.
You had 5, you had 3 okay for that. I became a teacher because relationships are really important to me, and just trying to impart a little bit of knowledge and make connections with students and help grow a fondness for learning and getting better at things. It's always been very important to me. And I also coach football and baseball. Not only do I get access to all the students I've had in the classroom over the years, but also the relationships I've made with students that I may not have had in the classroom through athletics. My favorite part of being a teacher, this is the easiest one, it's the students, it's the classroom, it's the interactions, it's your coworkers. You get to make connections with people that last beyond their 4 years in this place, so it's a really rewarding profession. You had 5, you had 3.
I became a teacher to be a part of something bigger than myself. I always found that I wanted to do something in society that helped people. And all my inspirations in my life, that pushed me to try the hardest were my teachers, so I kind of wanted to take that and pass it forward to other people. Things that I do that my teachers in the past didn't do is, I think, is keep a level playing field. My teachers in the past were a bit old school, so there was times I felt like I was talked down to, and I felt very much like the student, which is supposed to be there, but with me and my students, I keep it a very level playing field. But there is an understanding that I am the teacher and they are the student, but it's kind of equal ground. My favorite part about teaching is probably working with all the students. It's a lot of fun. And for me, when I was growing up in math class, my favorite teachers were always the ones that were funny and kept things very lighthearted, and that's how I keep it in here. So just being in that environment, I think, is my favorite part about the whole thing.
Now we're going to try magnesium. Hi there, my name is Mr. Millspaw. I was always interested in science. If you've ever seen a magician and you wondered how they did the tricks they did on the stage, well, that's the kind of questions, that's the curiosity I felt when I got into science and seeing how things worked. I always want to know how stuff worked. So the best part of teaching is when you see the students get it, in class, like that moment when they realize something or they're surprised or something like that. That's the best part about it.
My favorite part of being a teacher is just interacting with different students every day. I went to college kind of searching, still trying to find what I was looking for. And when I got there, I started understanding what I was interested in. I knew that I loved history, I loved the past, I loved kind of solving the riddles of things that have happened going back thousands of years and how it applies to today's life and our society in general. So once I started really honing in on my passion for social studies and for history, that's kind of when I knew the path that I wanted to take.
Now this isn't safe enough to put... I was in school. My mom told me I could either be a teacher or a nurse. And I don't like hospitals, so I became a teacher. Know that I've dissolved it in water. And since I love chemistry so much, I started taking chemistry classes when I was in college. And so I just kind of merged my love of chemistry with teaching. Each chemical into your I enjoy teaching complicated ideas and complicated concepts, and watching as students work hard to learn and grasp that information. Good enough, I bet. Bubbles, yeah.
Ava, who's your favorite teacher?
Mr. Dukes. Who's yours?
Well, I'd have to say Mrs. K. Make sure to let your teachers know you appreciate them, especially during Appreciation Week.
Well, that's all we have for you this evening, Ravens. Tune in next month for the newest episode of STTV News.